What's going on, everybody? Mike here, AXC Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with another episode on our 2023 Acura Integra A-Spec. In today's episode, we got a few things and upgrades that we got to do. But before we do that, let's go on the table. John's going to tell you guys a little bit more what we're doing today.
All right, so we have our next couple of mods for the 23 Integra. First off, like I was saying before, I wanted more of a blow-off valve sound, I should say, and I reached out to Boomba Racing. They have been around for quite some time. They're making motor mounts, and they do a lot of CNC aluminum parts, and this is a blow-off valve adapter from them. This is supposed to sandwich in between the factory blow-off valve or divert valve, and then it gives it 3 ports to open atmosphere vent and give you a little bit more sound. I know there's no performance increase to these, but when you have a turbo car, you want to hear the turbo. So hopefully that's what this does. So they sent this over with a couple other goodies. We're going to put it to a test. They've tested it on a 22 Civic Si, and they had no problems with it. Worked great. So this will be the first time putting it on the Integra. Hopefully we have the same success, I should say. And then on to the best part for me. This is the brake time. And we had Brian coming in to give us a hand here with the refinishing, because that's what he does best. But a little quick into what this is. These are, if you can see it right here, they are Hyundai Genesis Coupe 3.8 liter V6 A-Spec. They came with front and rear Brembos. Through some weird situation, somebody found out that these bolt directly onto the Civic chassis, which means it bolts directly to the Integra chassis. So we're gonna be bolting these up once we get them refinished, and we're also gonna be pairing them with Nissan Rogue S model 3rd row front rotors. Apparently that's what works. I'm hoping it all works. We have not test fitted anything yet. We'll do a little bit of that, make sure. And then what Brian's sitting on here is some Hawk 5.0 brake pads. These are going to give us the performance we need. But as far as these go, they came off of eBay. They're a little rough. Probably came off of a crash car. Right. And Brian was going to give us some advice on how to refinish them so that they look a little bit better than this.
Okay. Well, I am the master senior paint technician here. Senior. The senior. I am the oldest and have the most experience. But it doesn't take much, fortunately, to paint these. And this is a do-it-yourself project. We're not bringing any fancy paint guns into this situation. So I want to talk to you about how we're going to do it. You can see there's got a lot of grime and dirt build up on the caliper itself, and a lot of areas that are just tough to get to. Now, fortunately for us, we do have our super clean foaming product. Now, this stuff is really good. It works really well for anything household, even on barbecue grills.
It's a degreaser?
Yeah, it can cut the grease, and when it cuts the grease, it foams up like very black, and you can see it just lifting right off. So it's very good. You give it a few minutes to really work into the surface.
Do you have to brush it in?
Yeah, you can brush it in with like a, if you got like a brush.
I got that little detailing brushes.
Yeah, it really helps out. So you put it on there, you can maybe wash it off with a towel. You want to get all the dirt off, because if you don't, if you paint over it, it's just going to flake in time. So that would be the first step, which you guys will see. And then from there, we're going to be reapplying later the Brembo stickers. So we'll be showing you how to sand them off easily, and then what type of scuff pads to use in order to get into all these different areas so we can smooth it out. It doesn't need to be super perfect, but good enough for our caliper paint, which we're gonna show you. And where did you pick this up from?
Honestly, I got it off of Amazon. Our good buddy Jeremy, Rockstar Garage. I don't know if you've watched any of his videos.
I've watched him, unfortunately,
He is the one who recommended this, because we all know he's painted his calipers 1,000 times.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see 900 degrees. I know you'll put that to the test. So
yeah.
Let's go ahead and let's get started on your project and then mine.
Perfect. There are some options for aftermarket divert valves or blow-off valves. I'm not totally sure the difference in those phrasing wise, but either way, this one is going to utilize the stock one, which we kind of thought was a better move because we're not trying to modify the car too heavily, like upgraded turbos and stuff like that. So this is the stock one in its original location. And what we're going to do is remove the 3 bolts that hold it in and then put this in between there, and that's going to give us our ports. So first thing we got to do is remove the 3 T30 Torx that are on there and remove that factory valve and see about fitting this into place. All right, so here we have the plate, and it's gonna line up with this cutout, is gonna line up with the cutout. It's kind of hard to see. That's on the turbo. See it right there. So it's gonna face in just like this. And then we're gonna use these long screws, and it's gonna just sandwich everything together. So here's the fun part, putting these in without dropping the screws and having them go missing. We'll see how it works out. If not, we'll have to take everything apart, splash shield wise, and pick them back up. But you know, this is part of doing the job. All right, so it's installed now. Everything lined up good. It was a little bit tight, a little bit of a pain, but we're able to get it in with some of our nice kind of special sockets. So everything is involved. Yeah, Mike's tiny hands. As you can see my hands compared to Mike's hands. Between the two of us, we got everything in there. You can see it looks pretty nice. You can see where it says Boomba Racing, nice and billet. We chose to go with the raw aluminum because it kind of went with everything else we had there. They do sell them in a bunch of different anodized colors. So let's fire it up and see how it sounds.
John, can you take it easy for me?
What does that mean, take it easy?
Shift under like maybe 3,500 RPM.
Oh, yeah, red line's at 68. Yeah, you hear it some.
Yeah, so I think once we make that right, let's go and roll down window. I think we can hear a little bit more from the outside.
It sounds like my tire's losing air. I like it.
That's how it's supposed to sound, right, John?
Yeah, with the stock divert valve. So this is a stock divert valve with a modification to make it into a blow-off valve. A blow-off valve's gonna, you know, not recirculate. So, I mean, this is how it usually works, and normally you would just hear a little bit from the intake, but now that it's open atmosphere venting, this is what we get.
Sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. New sound, drives pretty good with it so far. I know it's probably not the best for anything with a MAF, or I should say speed density tuning, because you're losing the metered air, so it could potentially cause a possible dip in your idle when you're coming to a stop if you ride the gear down or get off of it a certain way. But so far, sounds good.
And with the blow-off valve out of the way, next up, let's go ahead and work on the front calipers. Now over here is the front calipers. First thing we're gonna do is go ahead and remove the brake pads, the shims, and also the pins, along with the remaining of the brake line. Then we'll take it to the back and give it a nice scrub down with a super clean degreaser right over here.
All right, so you saw that we went ahead and we got the Brembo sticker removed, completely removed. We used sandpaper and a block to even it out. And at this point, you can see that it's completely sanded. So what we used is we used our maroon scuff pad. And the maroon scuff pad is so good because it can get into small areas. You see there's a little shiny area right here. You can use your finger and get into all these areas. Basically what happens is if there's any shiny spots, that's where paint is not gonna stick. So it's good to have one of these, and we'll go ahead and put this in the description so you can use it for your own project. And after it's been sanded down, you can see those sanded pretty well. It's all completely nice and smooth, and it has a uniform dullness. Now, the next thing John will do is he's got 2-inch tape here, and he's got 1/2-inch tape right over here. And we're gonna tape off all the areas that we don't wanna get paint on, and then he'll hand it off to me, and we'll put down our spray can paint job.
All right, so we got the calipers totally refinished and we're getting ready to install everything on the car. And we really think that it's gonna look beautiful behind the new wheels on the car here. We posted some pictures online about it, but this is the first time we have it in one of our videos, seeing as this is the first video in some time that we've had on the Integra. So these are a limited edition Mugen GP wheel in an 18 by 8.5 plus 35. They're forged, and as you can see, they have this ring around it here. They're CNC engraved, and they're in a matte black finish. As you know, the regular Mugen GP wheels, they're in more of a gray finish, and everything's the same color on it. These are also more aggressive than those, and the whole idea behind it is to make a super limited wheel, which is what Mugen did on this, and they wanted to make it more aggressive. But everything fits on it. We paired it with a nice set of Falcon Azena, what are these? The RT615R, and there's R or Ks? I think they're, I can't tell.
K.
It's a K. 245, 46, or 18. These tires perform.
46?
46, 19. It's the end of the day. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, these Azenas, they're good. They're a little loud on the road for daily driving, but the grip on them's awesome. The way it handles with the fatter tire over our 19s is awesome. And also clears everything, doesn't rub on anything on the car, no issues. And the good thing is these have a nice deep pocket face that we know are gonna clear the new Brembos perfectly. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and start breaking it apart and then fit everything up on the car. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what the factory brake system is on here. So this is very similar to all the, I think is it 10th gen Civics? 10th or 11th gen?
11th gen.
11th gen Civics. That's why we know that this bolts up, because someone already figured it out. Now this is a single piston floating caliper. It works good. I had no issues with it when we did all of our driving up in the mountains. The rotors didn't warp. We upgraded with Goodridge brake lines and Mold Tool 660.4 brake fluid. That part was awesome. This is not an upgrade of necessity. This is an upgrade because who doesn't like big old red 4-piston Brembo calipers on the car? The stickers didn't come in time, so I'm gonna try and get those pretty soon, but that's no big deal. We can do that later.
But guys, look at the size difference.
Yeah, I mean, look at that.
Jeez.
It's just a little bit bigger. Tiny. All right, so in order for the caliper to fit, we had to trim back the backing plate a little bit here. No big deal, we just cut it straight off so we don't have interference where the caliper mounts, which is right here. No big deal. Our cutoff wheel cut it straight through clean. Always use your safety glasses.
All right, guys, just like that, John got it all done. Last step, just bleeding the brakes here.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna use our brake bleeder. And on these, you always wanna start with the inside one first. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our wrench on, put our hose on, crack her loose, and then we're just gonna start pumping up front.
All right, guys, so about a week later, the sticker finally came in. John, what do we have here?
Well, me being a weirdo, I had to go ahead and get a bunch of different options. So I went to Etsy and I saw what Brembo stickers they had. They have a few different versions here. I was looking for something bigger. I have these ones in a curved kind of way. These are straight, but a little bit smaller, as you can see. And then I got these Acura reflective ones. This kind of mimics our Type S calipers. And, you know, I mean, we were trying different ones, looking at it, you know, it looks okay. I wish it was a little bit longer to fill in the gap. The curved one is pretty cool. But I don't know if the curved is what we want or not because the caliper is pretty straight. But this one, us and the guys over here were looking at it, this actually looks pretty cool. I think this might be the one we go with. You know what the great thing is if we don't like it, we just peel it off and throw a different one on there. And I have like 12 of these, so I think we can make a pretty good option. I think we're gonna go with this. You guys tell us in the comments which ones you would prefer. And who knows, we might switch it out later and you'll have what you want. That's it.
That's it, man.
I'm going for it.
Use like a center point.
Yeah, we've been doing that on our...
Wow. It actually looks really good, John.
Oh, it does. Looks better than I thought it was gonna look.
And you said that's reflective too, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be white reflective. You can already kind of see it, so let's go ahead and hope it sticks pretty good. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, very good looking.
Not bad. So I got my little flashlight over here.
Oh, let's see. I don't think we're gonna see it like this. I think it's gonna be at night and from an angle. Even there, look, it looks bright.
You know, it's already getting dark outside. I think let's go ahead and finish up the other side, put the wheels back on, then we can maybe go for a test drive. Because you've been driving these brakes for a little while.
Yeah, you can see they're worn in. So my impression on them after, I'd say probably put like 600-700 miles on them. It's the Hawk 5.0 brake pads. These are high carbon centric rotors. And overall, I've been really happy with the performance. Down low and regular driving, they feel exactly the same as stock, which is what you would expect. High speed driving, highway, heavy braking, no brake fade, no wobble. The thing is solid. And I can compare it to David's FK8, not horsepower wise, but braking power wise, it's very similar, even though those have even bigger brakes than this. It's very similar in the way they perform. I'm overall completely happy with it. I would like to see if I could find a rotor that's a little bit taller, because if you look inside here, there's still quite a bit of room for the rotor to go, and even if you look on this side where the pads are, the pad actually overhangs the rotor quite a bit. If you can see it.
Try to get an angle.
Yeah,
I see it right there, I think.
Yeah, so, you know, if I can find a rotor that's bigger, taller than this one, I think it'll fill it in overall a little bit better. Those are my only tweaks to this setup. But overall, I think I don't even really gonna put too much more time and effort into it because the braking is already tremendously better than the stock. And totally happy with it. Go for it.
And guys, just like that, we're all done with this episode with a brake kit upgrade along with a blow-off valve. Now in the next episode, we'll be jumping back on the engine bay. We'll install a PRL flex fuel system and also their all-new cooling reservoir kit. You definitely don't want to miss. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and also turn on notification. And don't forget, follow us on our social media pages, both Facebook and Instagram at Acura Honda Classic. My name is Mike, on behalf of AC Garage. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see all of you next week.